Hey there, dear viewers. Welcome to Obsessed with Werewolves. I'm so glad you're here because I know you, like me, have a passion for all things werewolf. From their captivating tales to their mysterious nature, we're going to explore it all. So let's dive right in and satisfy our obsession together, in the shadows. Later that evening, I am seated at the huge dinner table. There are 3 such tables, each completely occupied by the pack wolves. I am seated on the left of Xalvador, and his chair is almost attached to mine. The cook and the maid serve some spaghetti to everyone, and the people dig immediately. I take a morsel, struggling with the fork, and then finally settle for the spoon instead. Xalvador notices this and glances at me, to which I look away embarrassed. I manage to use the spoon perfectly after some bites, and my thoughts drift to my previous life. I was happy as a rogue, free, independent, and able to do whatever I wanted to do. I didn't have to adhere to any norms or fit in anywhere but. Fate had other plans, and now this is the life I'm living. The dinner for me was awkward. With all the wolves constantly giving me curious looks, I felt like running away from there. I still managed to get through it, but now is the part I had been dreading all along. The night. In the same room with Xalvador, I get into his room and sit on the bed, not knowing what to do. Xalvador enters soon and goes to the closet. Go and change Sugar Bun. It's time to sleep. Xalvador says after he is done changing, not to mention looking even more attractive in the casual shorts and t-shirt. I get up sighing. I choose a pair of black pajamas and a yellow t-shirt for the night. The pair isn't revealing at all, which offers some relief to me. I enter back into his room and lie down on the bed, closing my eyes, slowly drifting towards a slumber. I'm suddenly awake again when there is shuffling, but I keep my eyes closed. The bed dips and I know the monster is beside me. A part of me is happy that my mate is so close to me, but the same part of me wants to cringe away from him and run from this hell. To my horror, an arm drapes on my waist and I'm pulled closer to Xalvador's chest with my back to him. My breathing shoots up and the mate bond is satisfied and aroused at the same time. It wants more. It wants a mark, a claim, and then the ultimate consummation. But I won't ever do that. This is the farthest I will allow Xalvador to go, and the mate bond has to satisfy itself. If it can't, I would rather die and end this agony once and for all. But the mate bond won't allow that to. I know about it. It would make the attraction irresistible and almost impossible to overcome. I would end up doing things I don't want to do, and stopping it would be out of control. Being this close to him will only deepen the intensity and the craving of the mate bond. Sleep, Sugar Bun. It's quite late. Xalvador says, and I yelp slightly. I swish my eyes tighter and struggle to breathe normally. Xalvador leans towards me and his hand tightens around my waist. I feel the hair on the back of my neck rising because of his hot breath. He takes a deep sniff of my scent, and I realize that this is something he does every time we are close. I don't know the reason, though. I calm my uneven breathing and try to sleep. Soon I hear Xalvador's breathing become even, and that provides me with some sort of relief. I try to slip into a deep sleep, but my eyes stay wide open, and I end up thinking about everything that has happened and everything that might happen. Another fact is that I woke up late today, so it's natural if I can't sleep. I was never a heavy sleeper. This room, this proximity irritates me, and I decide to get out for a while. The feeling of being trapped might go in the training field for a while now. With a constant prayer in my mind, I lift Xalvador's heavy hand from my waist and drop it lightly. I wiggle slowly and reach the end of the bed. With soft steps, I open the door and close it as noiselessly as I can. I go down the stairs and the entire house is eerily quiet. It's amazing how the chatter that was present throughout the day is completely dead right now. No wolves roaming around or no wolves training, but that's exactly what I was looking for. The day was an ordeal except for the time I spent with Liam. I hope I run into him tomorrow again so I might get to know him better. But then I remember Xalvador's reaction to me and Liam being friends, and I sigh sadly. Not such a good idea then. I don't want him to get into trouble because of me. I reached the training field almost crying in relief after I managed to sneak out through the huge door without making a ton of noise. The field is clear, the grass cut adequately and moist with a soft wind blowing around. A cool breeze fans my face and I feel the most calm and pleasant I have felt in the last few days. I walk there, feeling the light massage that the grass gives my feet and imagining the breeze taking away all my fears and frustration with it. I suddenly hear ruffling on the right side of mine and my senses are immediately alert. Being an elemental, all my werewolf's powers and senses are sharper and stronger than an average wolf. Not as powerful as an alpha, but definitely a plenty times stronger than the other wolves. I look to the right, my eyes focusing on the area I heard the movement from. It's dark and the trees act as a thick blanket covering whoever or whatever that is standing there. Then I see it, a shadow, moving along the trees, and the other second it has disappeared. The movement was so fast and swift that I doubt if I even saw something. But then I trust my instincts yelling at me that there was definitely something over there, yes. I did see something. The movement was unnaturally quick, but the shuffling sound was there. And my ears can't be wrong about it. As I stand there in the dark, in the quiet, cold night, my mind is in a havoc thinking of what my ears and eyes just witnessed. No matter how strong a werewolf is, he or she cannot run so fast, not even an alpha. Werewolves have strength as a built-in feature. Speed and flexibility is something that they master by practice. But even then it's impossible for a werewolf to attain a speed equivalent to what I just saw. I wonder what it could have been, and once again my mind calculates the possibility of me being mistaken or just being a paranoid. A she-wolf shouldn't be here all alone at this hour of the night. The croak-y voice says from behind me and I turn around. I see a man, probably in his 50s, face wrinkled and eyes gleaming with something I can't put a finger on. He stands in a bent posture which is quite weird, and the aura around him itself is of something wicked. I don't know why I feel like that, but his presence makes me uncomfortable. I'm sorry, but may I know who you are? I question politely and he smiles. A sly smile. What the hell is up with this guy? Of course the Luna would want to know who I am. I am a member of this pack and also the younger brother of the pack trainer Marcel. He says and I nod hesitantly. Okay, at least he is from the pack, which makes him safe. Maybe he has always been this weird. Oh, all right. But please refrain from calling me Luna. I would appreciate if you call me Miss Arabella or simply Arabella, I say with a shrug. He shoots me a weird smile again, and suddenly I regret coming out here. Wouldn't the alpha kill me if I called his mate simply Arabella? He says, laughing a maniac laugh, and walks away. I catch a small bit of his scent and it feels weird. But then, it's also true that each werewolf has a different scent. Plus, the pack smell was evident on him. And moreover, I have only met a few werewolves in my entire life, so I can't tell if he smelled weird. But something about the way he said the word "Alf" did not seem right, and I feel like investigating the matter. But then decide against it. I'm not going to be involved or even feel interested in the matters of this pack. I don't care if this guy is absurd, as long he doesn't harm me, though, in case of which I can defend myself, I have no issues. I forget the events of the past few minutes and focus on the breeze and the calm surrounding. Bella, a voice growls from behind me and a shiver runs down my spine. I turn around and see an irritated Xalvador. Days. Does this guy know any other emotions except for anger and irritation? Like there hasn't been a single moment today when I saw him smile or at least stay normal. He is just as absurd as the guy I just met, just in a different way. What are you doing here? And why the hell are you not beside me in our room? He growls and I feel like punching him. Chill, monster. I have a life too. And don't call that hell chamber our room. Please. Xalvador, please. Stop fussing about small things. I couldn't sleep and the room was suffocating me, so I just came here for some fresh air. I say, irritation glazing my voice. Small things. My mate, who is always making stupid plans of running away, is not in my room in the middle of the night and you think I should find that normal. You could have just stood in the window if you were not feeling good. Or simply woke me up and I would have brought you here. Yeah, right. Little do you know that you were the one actually suffocating me. I wanted to be alone for some time, okay? Away from you. So waking you up would have ultimately been the same as lying with you in your bed. I snap and text Xalvador's Arkin. He inches closer to me and I find myself gulping in nervousness. Damn it, Arabella. Say that again, sugar bun. He says in a dangerously low voice. No, nothing. Let's go and I sleep. I'm feeling much better now. I say, trying to get him away, but he hooks an arm around my waist, pulling me close. It's already difficult for me to refrain myself from marking you because I know you are not ready. But you pulling out stupid stunts and saying these things drives me insane. It is taking every bit of myself, control right now to stop myself from pushing my canines into your flesh and claim you as mine. My wolf is raging crazily to come out, but I am not letting him. Because if he does, I won't be able to stop him, and I might even want to stop him from doing what he wants. So I suggest you stop doing and saying such things if you don't want to face the consequences. He says huskily yet dangerously near my ear. The cold breeze no longer affects me as I suddenly feel hot all over. His hand is tracing the area of my neck where I am supposed to be marked and I shiver in fear. I don't want him to mark me, no. I jolt away from him and with quick steps run into the house, savoring the last waves of the cold air on my skin. Cower, I'm sleeping peacefully. My arms are wrapped around Grandma. She is stroking my hair and I start to fall into a deep sleep. I smile, feeling safe and content with Grandma. Suddenly I hear thuds and thumps. The night gets darker and the forest cave gloomier. Grandma picks me up hurriedly and runs around. She puts a hand on my mouth when I make a small noise. She wraps me in a cloth and digs a big hole suddenly. It is all very fast. I can't understand anything. Suddenly it's black and quiet. I can see nothing. A shrill cry pierces the silence. It's Grandma's voice. Blood. I smell it. It's dripping. From the black space on my face, I scream and wake up with a jolt. The dream again. My grandma's killing still haunts me even though I have very little idea of how it happened. It's like the dreams never want me to forget what happened that night. I immediately feel a presence beside me and in the flash of a lightning, I'm in Xalvador's cradle. He's run his hand down my spine and I calm down. The mate bond is happy and that makes me relieved involuntarily. Are you okay, Bella? I hear his voice laced with concern, but I can't answer. Every time I dream of the events of that dreadful night, there is a kind of adrenaline surge that flows through my body and wreaks havoc within every nerve that functions beneath my skin. Sugar bun. He asks again and I realize how close we are. Yay, I'm fine. I say curtly and move out of his grasp. He tightens his grip, but I still manage to sneak out. I lie down on the bed again and the emptiness makes me feel worse than I should be feeling. Damn you, mate bond. Xalvador lies down too and his arm wraps around my waist tightly, as if warning me not to show resistance. That brings a feeling of protectiveness and I shudder. It's not something I have felt before. Until now, I was the only one who used to protect myself. Now to all of a sudden have another person care and protect me is a foreign feeling. Even then it calms my body and soul at once, and for once I let go. The nightmares leave my mind in a mess, and if that reduces by having Xalvador's arm around me, then be it. The next morning when I wake up, I find the bed empty and a mix of sadness and relief fills me. I check the time and it is 9 already. Shit. I never slept till this late before. I get up and head to the bathroom. The place invites me for a bath and I immediately agree. I take a shower and then search the room for the bags of clothes that Xalvador ordered yesterday. I pick out a pair of black track pants and a gray t-shirt. I dress simply just like yesterday and go down. I should probably run for a while or at least acquaint myself with some physical activity. My head doesn't hurt anymore and I feel quite fit. As I walk towards the training field, the events of the previous night flash in my head and a tingle runs down my spine. The air blows lightly as I tie my hair up on the field. There are many wolves training and some of them even keep looking in my direction constantly, trying to see what I might do next. That makes me feel awkward. I mean, I barely had an audience in my entire life. I wander around just stretching and waving awkwardly to some wolves when my eyes land on him. Liam. Despite knowing Xalvador's reaction to this, I walk over to him and he smiles widely when he sees me. Hi, Miss Arabella. Good morning. He greets and I smile back. Can you really not call me just Arabella? At least when we are alone and the big bad alpha isn't present. I ask hopefully and he laughs. I'll be risking my life if I do that, but okay. I'll call you Arabella when Alpha Xalvador isn't around. He states dramatically and my face lights up again. That's great. Thanks, Liam. No problem. But is there a reason you came up to me? I mean, need any help? He asks and I nod. Yeah. I actually wanted to exercise and practice my attack and defense tactics. But all these wolves out here keep staring and stuff, so it's kinda uncomfortable for me. I say awkwardly and he laughs slightly. I understand, Arabella, so you want me to take you to a place where you can't reign alone? He suggests and I nod frantically. Oh yes, please. I say and he starts walking with a follow me gesture. I follow him and he takes me to the back of the house. It's a wide and greenish brown field, all clear of the curious wolves. This is the place where the alpha trains their special fights and competitions are held. I don't think there is anything today, and also Alpha Xalvador trains early in the morning and then in the evening. So the place will be clear. Liam explains and I looks around happily. Thank God. Thanks so much. This place is great. No problem. If you don't mind me asking, you are an elemental, right? Liam asks. Yes. A fire elemental. Wow, I mean, that's amazing. I wouldn't say the same thing right now. It sucks being an elemental if you are going to get kidnapped and forced to join a pack. I state sadly and Liam looks away. It is not his fault though. If he had been the alpha, I am sure that for the mere purpose of expanding his territory, he wouldn't have abducted me. I start shooting punches in the air. 2-2-1. I follow the same pattern and all the while Liam watches. Surprisingly, his stare doesn't bother me that much. Maybe that's because I think of him as my friend. I keep up the pattern of punches and Liam seems to be in deep thought. What are you thinking? I question while beginning with a backward kick. I should go now. Bye, Arabella. Liam says and I stop. Wait, Liam, tell me if there is something you want to say. Come on. I encourage and he sighs with a small laugh. I was wondering if you could give me a demonstration. I mean a small one of your elemental powers. He says, smiling awkwardly, and I laugh. I nod in response and wipe my hands on my pants. I bring them in the front and close my eyes for concentration. I whirl my hands above each other and open my eyes. I see Liam watching in fascination and curiosity. I concentrate again and aim fire at the grass near my foot. I don't put in much strength. It's just a demonstration. A small fire burns on the ground and Liam's claps. Whoa. That's some amazing stuff you are blessed with. How strong of a fire can you make? Liam speaks and I think. I don't know actually. I never really used my elemental powers nor practiced them. Fire burns and ruins and kills. So I didn't really want to practice. I can make a fire ring and I guess that's the farthest I can go. An elemental's power gets stronger and stronger with the amount of practice and efforts they put it. I explain and he nods in understanding. Of course, Arabella. I understand. Thanks for the demo. Now I should get back now to my trade. Bye, Liam says and walks away with a small smile. I smile back and return to practicing and training. I sweat for at least 2 hours and feel my own self again. I walk into the house to Xalvador's room and wash my hands and face. I let my hair down and run a hand through them. I walk out of the room to see Xalvador sitting on the bed, his back facing me. That was some nice training, sugar bun, he states and I startle. Thanks, I say curtly looking at his muscled back. He watched me train. Holy stalker. He is wearing a white shirt and black pants. He looks handsome. Shut up, Fiona. So what were you talking to Liam about? He asks, his voice taking on a possessive note. Of course. I should have seen this coming. Nothing. I just showed him a small demonstration of my power. I say, stuttering a bit. Did he ask you to? He asks again. Kenda. I say, not sure if this is good for Liam. I don't want to lose the only friend I have here because of the fear or order of this big bad alpha. Okay. See you at lunch. He says suddenly after a while and walks out of the room, slamming the door behind him. I shrug and I'll sit on the bed for a while. Then I decide to have something since I trained without breakfast. I never got much food when I lived as a rogue, so I don't actually have a huge appetite. And honestly, I was quite full from the dinner last night when I woke up today. I hop down the large, white, round staircase and walk to the kitchen. There are a few people drinking water, but apart from that, the kitchen is empty. The group of people drinking water nod at me when they see me and then walk away chattering. I take a seat at the table and pick up an apple and a sandwich. I also pour myself some orange juice and begin eating. Good afternoon, Luna. Comes a voice in my stomach twitches in uneasiness. It's the pack trainer's brother. The weird man from last night. I turn around in my chair to find him smiling at me, with what seems like an evil glint in his eye. Evil air, I look at him and nod in acknowledgement. He comes over, near the table and stands beside me. I look away and keep eating my apple. I catch the same scent again and my nose crinkles. It's like this man has a wave of weirdness around him. I didn't introduce myself properly last night. My name is Kane. I extend my warm welcome to you. Luna, he says, his voice taking a different tone in the end. Something about this man is odd and I can't quite put a finger on it. As I said before, please don't call me Luna and I appreciate you welcoming me here. Thanks. I say curtly and get up. I already hate my stay here and this man makes me hate it even more. Kane laughs creepily as I start walking away. Luna's life isn't easy. Remember, some even have to die to protect their mates. I can understand if you don't want to be the Luna. But I also see you have no choice out. Kane says with a maniac-like smile. I don't understand the problem with this guy. I am sorry, but I have no idea what you are talking about. You don't right now, but... Time will show you. He leans closer to my face, looking into my eyes. I spot the same evil glint present in his eyes. Dreadful things. Luna has to make a lot of sacrifices for the pack and I hope you are ready for them. He whispers, Kane. A voice booms and Kane moves away. Xalvador marches towards us and picks up Kane by his collar and shoves him roughly. I gasp as Kane lands meters away from where I stand. Stay away from my mate. If I find you standing this close to her one more time, trust me, the consequences will be bad. Oh, come on, Alpha. I was just greeting and welcoming my new Luna, he replies, standing up. I feel a hint of annoyance in his voice, but ignore it. Xalvador huffs in nonchalance and grabs my arms, walking us away. I told you to stay away from other males, he growls once we are alone. I roll my eyes. And who do you think you are? I question, even though I know it will tick him off. Your mate and your alpha, he says roughly, anger audible in his tone. He pushes us inside his office and slams me to the door. I look into his eyes and feel the anger about everything he has done to me resurface within me. You are not my mate because I refuse to accept Monster as my mate. And Alpha? I laugh mockingly. I am not a member of this pack, so you are not my Alpha. Stop ordering me around. I gwetch, I growl. I feel my eyes water as yet again I realize what I have landed myself into. Xalvador clenches his fists and steps closer to me. There is almost no snow space between us now. His breathing is hard and his eyes turn a darker shade of his beautiful color-blended eyes. Almost turning to black, he grabs me by my waist and leans into my neck. I feel his lips trail near my collarbone and my knees weaken. Aficionados dances in happiness and I battle for control. There are goosebumps stall over my body and I gasp as his teeth knit at my skin. U-H-N. I frown at the noise Xalvador makes, but when I look up, he looks just as confused. We both turn around at lightning speed and I saw an uncomfortable-looking Liam sitting there. He smiles nervously at me but gulps when he looks at Xalvador. I follow his eyes to Xalvador's face and gulp myself as I see the murderous expression on his face. He steps forward with a thump and I catch his hand, fearing he might do something to Liam. Xalvador seems surprised and stops. He looks at me and I smile nervously, hoping to stop him. His expression softens immediately and he turns to Liam again, this time much calmer. What is it, Liam? Xalvador asks in a gruff voice, annoyance quite clear. I apologize for interrupting your conversation with Lou, miss. Arabella, but I need to talk to you about something, Alpha. I thought about waiting for you in your office till you returned. I didn't expect miss. Arabella coming too, Liam explains, clearly afraid. Monster. His own pack fears him so much. What do you want to talk about? Xalvador gets straight to the point. I roll my eyes mentally and listen to what Liam has to say. His face turns dreadfully yet serious. Alpha, there have been attacks on the east border. A lot of our warrior wolves have died. Beta Axel has already left and it's important for you to check out the border area. He says. How much damage has been done? At least 25 wolves have been killed. Bea was on his round. One of the wolves from the north border reported the damage. Liam explains. Fine. I'll leave now. You stay here and guard the pack house. Also, arrange 10 wolves for picking up the dead bodies. Xalvador commands and Liam nods, walking to the door. He smiles at me as he leaves and I return the gesture. Xalvador frowns at our exchange. You go and rest in our room. I have business to attend to, Sugar Bun. Xalvador orders me, gazing at the large map on the wall behind his chair, and I literally clench my fist to stop it from punching him in his gorgeous face. I mean his normal-looking face. Yeah, Arabella. Keep line. Rest. Are you serious? I just woke up some time ago and I haven't done anything since. How can I rest when I am not tired? I point out and Xalvador looks at me. So go and train where you were yesterday. He says. He knows. No, I am coming with you. I feel trapped staying the whole day in this house. As it is, it's been long since I had a run. I reason, hopeful to go out in the woods now. There could still be danger at the border, and I don't want you to be there. He growls. Xalvador, please. I have been defending myself all my life. I can protect myself. No sugar bun. I don't care if you can defend yourself. You are my mate now, and I am not letting you get hurt. A part of me cheers in happiness at the feeling of protection from him, and a part of me resents it. Xalvador, I want to come. You can't expect me to stay in here all day. I argue, and he starts walking away, ignoring me. I huff in annoyance and kick him mentally for being so rude. I formulate a plan. Fine. I can escape from here since you will be out. I mutter lowly but loud enough so he hears. As expected, he stops and turns around. What did you say? He growls and I act like I let out a secret. Oh, I'm not nothing. You should leave. The border issue needs your presence. I say, trying to stammer and put on a nervous expression. He looks into my eyes and seems to think for seconds. I have changed my mind. You will accompany me, he says suddenly, and I continue my act. I widen my eyes and give out a sad forced sigh, whereas I am dancing on the inside. His eyes grow darker at my fake reaction. Don't even think about leaving again. He warns in a low, dangerous voice and leaves while I quickly follow. Of course, I am not thinking of leaving. Even if Xalvador left, Liam would have never let me run away. I sigh but cheer myself at the prospect of going to the woods freely after so long, yea. Blood and burn. I follow Xalvador to the entrance of the house and see another group of 10 wolves waiting for us. They bow their heads in respect as Xalvador and I reach them. Shift. Xalvador commands and the wolves remove their T-shirts. All of them have a sculpted body, and I guess it's the same for every warrior wolf here. Mark. Xalvador calls the next moment and a man comes there. Make arrangement for clothes for everyone after we shift on the border. Carry clothes for Arabella too. Xalvador orders and Mark leaves after a curt nod. The 10 wolves crack their bones and shift, their pants and shorts staring apart. Xalvador removes his clothes too, and I resist myself from looking at incredible, tanned body. I shake my thoughts and walk behind a tree. I feel Xalvador's eyes following me and quickly strip out of my clothes. I shift as fast as I can because in front of these people, isn't it called of these people, isn't it exactly what would call comfortable? I crack my bones and turn into my white wolf. I walk towards the others and feel shocked when I see the biggest wolf I have ever seen. It's Xalvador. He looks even more terrifying in his wolf form, and I restrain myself from whimpering. His wolf is huge with a glossy dark gray fur which could almost pass for black. He opens his mouth as I approach him, and I see his canines. They are sharp and very long. He might have mind-linked the other wolves as they leave immediately altogether. He then comes to me and rubs our sides together. I feel small standing beside him as he nuzzles my fur. He looks into my eyes and mind-links me. We leave now, but do not leave my side in any situation. I just nod at his instructions and we both start off running. Aficionados stretches herself as I run as fast as I can to keep up with my monster mate. He is ridiculously fast, but being an elemental, I match up to his pace. Had I been a normal wolf, I would have barely covered half the area he covers in one stride. We soon catch up with the other wolf and run past them. We run and after what seems like hours, reach the border which is attacked. The first thing I see is blood. Everywhere. And then the dead bodies. But the bodies aren't teared up. They are burnt. And they are in such a condition that even their faces can't be identified. Xalvador stiffens as he takes in the damage. Everyone waits as he examines the area, and I see Bay Axel running towards him. Xalvador sniffs around and leaps over each and every dead body. He sniffs the blood and then sniffs the air. After completing his examination of the scene, he stands beside me again. He mind links me and the other wolves to shift, and they comply. I look around for the person mark so I could get some clothes. As if on cue, Mark arrives and drops a pair of shorts on Xalvador's legs. Then he proceeds to me and drops a track pant and a t-shirt. I pick the clothes between my teeth and shift behind a tree. When I return back dressed, I see everyone clothed, just wearing shorts or pants. I also realize that I am the only female here. I stand beside Xalvador and he seems pleased about it. He looks at me and his eyes trail up and down on my body. His intense stare breaks when we see Beta Axel running towards us. Alpha, he greets. What exactly happened? I had just begun on my usual rounds near the pack house when one of the wolves from the north border mind-linked me about not being able to contact any of the east border wolves. I didn't think the matter would be this serious, but I still came anyway. I thought that the wolves must be misbehaving or being irresponsible while guarding, but I found them all dead when I reached here. That's when I informed Liam. Beta explains and Xalvador grunts in response. He thinks for a while and they both immerse in a conversation. I take that chance to myself go and examine the dead wolves. I take in every position and try to figure what would have happened. I turn the bodies around to search for a bullet mark, but their burnt skin makes it impossible to notice anything like that. Arabella, we are leaving. I hear Xalvador commanding me and I roll my eyes. I don't want to leave yet. I need to see what happened to these warrior wolves. Why, Era? This isn't your pack, right? Aficionados taunts me and I realize that I am being more concerned over this than I should. But what other choice do I have? Xalvador will never let me go. If I have to stay in this pack, I might as well do something to occupy mind and save me from the boredom. It's not like I am gonna fight for the ruthless alpha of this monster pack. I can't just go and stay in that room all day. It would kill me. I walk over to Xalvador and see him removing his pants to shift. I quickly close my eyes and run behind the same tree. I strip and shift, kicking my clothes. I see everyone except the wolves that have to pick up the dead bodies in their wolf forms, and Xalvador takes the lead. I follow him and he slows down a bit so I can fall into step beside him. We both leave the beta and other wolves behind as Xalvador picks up the pace and I do the same. Upon reaching the pack house, Xalvador leaves for his work, but not before warning me to not even think of running. I roll my eyes mentally at his stupidity. Like I would try to leave again when you are in the house. Yeah, right. I go inside the house, hoping to find Liam. I find him in one of the living rooms. I walk and he smiles when he sees me. Hey, where were you? He questions. I went to the border with your alpha, I say, and his eyes widen, face splitting into a suggestive grin. It's nothing like you are thinking. I get super bored here having nothing to do, so I thought I might as well go and see what happened. Also, I needed a run and you know Xalvador would have never allowed that. I explain quickly to stop him from giving me the suggestive looks. He nods in understanding, still carrying a happy expression. I change the topic to the attack and he expresses his views. I nod and then get up intending to work out. I had enough of rest. Arabella. Liam calls and I turn around, my hand on the door handle. His face is serious and he gets up, walking towards me. I just wanted to talk about your conversation with Alpha in the office today. I mean, all I want to say is that Alpha Xalvador had a rough childhood. He had to encounter terrible things at a tender age and I could tell you everything. But then it's not my story to tell. I just know that he is not a bad person. He comes out as a ruthless monster, but I know he cares a lot. For his pack, his people, and you. Just give him a chance and maybe you will know the real Alpha Xalvador once you break down his walls. Because think about it, The moon goddess chose you as his mate for a reason. Liam concludes and walks out of the room, giving me a small smile. His words hit me like a wrecking ball. And that's because I know that everything he just said is true. And somewhere they are the facts I try to ignore. Mates are chosen for each other for a reason, and I had been lying to my own self that it was a mistake that I end Xalvador or our mates since the day my eyes fell on him. I sigh as a tornado of thoughts rises up in my mind. Again, analyzation. I'll leave the living room, deep in thoughts about what Liam said. I automatically find myself outside Xalvador's office. I frown at my body's instinct, but anyways decide to talk to Xalvador. I'm about to knock when his voice booms from inside. "Come in, sugar bun." Startled, I enter inside and stand awkwardly. "How did you know I was standing outside?" I question, and he raises his head up from the stack of papers he is working on. "You are my mate, sugar bun. I can smell you from a distance," he says, and I slap myself mentally. Of course he can. He is my mate on top of that alpha, which means his senses are stronger than most. Yeah, I forgot. That, I say and fall into an awkward silence. "So what is that you came here for?" Xalvador questions after a while. "About the attack." "I wanted to just express my views," I reply. He looks at me surprised. And I almost decide to leave. I don't want him to feel that I'm interested in his pack or him. "I would love to hear them," he says, and all I can hear is genuineness. With a bit of happiness to maybe. Okay. "So did you notice that all the victim warrior wolves were in human form?" "Yes, oh what about it?" "Don't you think it's uncanny that none of the wolves showed resistance? If another pack or rogues had attacked, those victim wolves would have shifted right then and fought back. But not one of them was in their wolf form. And it's impossible for even the strongest tribal pack wolves to kill 25 wolves without any resistance." I explain, and he nods, seeming deep in thought. "Point well made. I didn't think from this angle. Also, if they did kill all those warrior wolves, why would they burn their bodies? It can't be an overall fire because only the wolves have been burnt and not a single tree is harmed. Which means that they deliberate each of the wolves. It's as if they don't want to leave any traces of how those wolves were killed." Xalvador finishes for me, and I just nod. "Yes, that's exactly what I have been thinking," I say. Just then, Fade Axel enters with Liam. They inform us about the dead bodies being buried, and the Xalvador explains them what we just talked about, the attack. They both express their views and agree, but nothing significant comes out of it. I take my leave and walk up to my room that I share with my monster mate. I sigh and sit on the bed when I hear the door creaking. I walk to the door, my senses alert. I just catch a whiff of a foreign smell before it vanishes completely. I enter the room and there is something not right. I look around but find nothing. I shrug the feeling as paranoia and look out of the window. The incidents of the attack are strange. It doesn't seem like a normal werewolf attack, and it's definitely not a human attack. There are no evidences of silver bullet, because that's the only werewolves that strong would be affected. I dread the awkward dinner as I walk down the staircase. I spot Xalvador waiting for me, and everyone takes seats as I arrive. We begin the food, and the beta speaks after a while. "Alpha, you need to decide what you want to do with those wolves in basement," he says, and Xalvador nods. "There is nothing to decide. Kill them. Use silver shackles to tie them up, and then rip their heads off with silver knives," he says briefly, and I feel shocked at how casually he talked about killing. And using silver is itself an example of how cruel he can be. I know wolves are punished in a pack, but this is a demo of how heartless Mr. Alpha Xalvador is. I look at Liam with accusation, and he looks away. I eat my food quickly, hating every second of it. I walk silently to the basement, hoping to see those tortured wolves. I made sure my monster mate went to the office so I have some time. I remember the way since that's the first part of this house that I saw. I go in the same room first, but it's empty. Then I check out a couple more when finally in the last, dark basement, I hear voices of groaning and pain. I shiver as I open the huge door and go down the small steps. I see 3 wolves, shackled in silver cuffs and chains. There are deep cuts all over their bodies, and it's an even more terrible sight from what I saw in the forest today. I walk cautiously to them, my hands itching to help them. Please help us. One of them calls out me as I near them. I can't if I don't know why you guys are here. I exclaim, concern evident in my voice. We just went against Telfa's rules and didn't win the last fight with the Graysky pack because we got attacked first. He was displeased and so he punished us like this. Another one explains with great pain and groaning after every word. Oh my God. How can he be so ruthless? I whisper to myself and the wolves groan in pain again. My eyes search the room for a key or something, but I don't find anything. I try to touch the shackles, but my fingers cuts the moment it contacts the silver. I scream and draw my hand back, feeling even more terrified for the 3 wolves. What the fuck are you doing here? A deafening voice growls from behind me, and I know it's the monster. I muster up all my courage and turn to face him. He looks dangerous, terrifying, and just the monster that he is. I look up to him in the eyes and cower on the inside when they darken murderously. His eyes move to the blood and cut on my fingers, and he growls again. A growl so loud that it echoes like thunder in the basement. Calming my erratic breathing, I speak up. Leave those wolves. They have not done that big of a crime, Mr. Alpha. I say with a firm voice, and Xalvador walks over to me. You are my mate, but that doesn't mean you defy my orders and come here all alone. Nor do you get to talk in such a tone. He warns me. Oh yeah, you are not some god. You are a living being, and so are they. Stop being so cruel, okay? I raise my voice. I make the decisions here. Now go back to our room. Guards. He orders, and 2 large men rush by his side. He motions for them to take me away, and I scowl in disgust. You are a monster, Xalvador. Merciless and cruel and heartless and ruthless. I hate you, and I hate to be your mate. I scream as the guards pull me away, despite my strong resistance. Xalvador ignores me, and I look back to wolves. As the guards drag to me the stairs. Luna. I hear them cry, and I feel tears surfacing. The guards bring me out of the basement, and that is when I hear 3 ear-deafening screams. He killed them. Monster. Disclosures. I run to the training field. My hatred towards Xalvador are multiplied by 1,000 times. Yeah, Efiona, this is your mate, the one you want to be with. I taunt Efiona, and she whimpers. You just can't judge him, or he must have had a reason for doing what he did. She says, and I scoff. We saw and heard everything. Efiona. The truth is that he is a monster, and you are no longer in your right senses. I snap and shut the mind link immediately because I can't bear her defending that monster. I walk to the back of the house where I train usually. I expect it to be empty, but find Liam training there too. I ignore him and start training. Arabella, he says, and walks towards me. I don't answer him and continue training facing the other side. Arabella, which? Arabella, listen to me. He says and walks around. Now what explanation do you have for your alpha? I snap and his face turns desperate. See, I understand that you haven't seen much people get killed in your whole life, but in packs it is different. Every alpha has a strong reason for doing anything he does, and Alpha Xalvador is one of them. He has to have a valid reason for killing those wolves we talked about. No, Liam, you're wrong. You don't know shit about my past life, so let me tell you this. I have seen people get killed. And about having a reason for every action. I know what your heartless alpha's reasons were. Don't try to defend him. Those wolves told me everything in the way they were being tortured. It was pure cruelty. I conclude, breathless. Come on, Era. You can't trust those, he begins, and I cut him off. I can't trust your alpha either. Please stop talking about him. You will only make things worse. Trust me. I say and walk away. I have nowhere to go, so I just decide to go to the monster's room, hoping that he wouldn't be there. Thankfully, I find the room empty and decide to take a quick nap. I lie down and closing my eye provides slight relief. I feel Grandma caressing my hair, whispering sweet words to me. I smile in content and turn to snuggle with her. She feels so usually, but today, she feels so hard. I snap open my eyes in realization and flinch away from Xalvador. How dare you touch me, you monster! I shout and move away from him. Within a second he is on top of me, his face grim and his eye looking murderous. Never ever do that again, sugar bun. Do not deprive of my matrites. He warns me, pressing his entire weight on me. Tingles shoot up immediately and I struggle to push him away. He tightens his grip on me and buries his face in my neck, breathing hard. Why do you do this, Della? Always driving me insane and then compelling me to control myself. He looks up into my eyes and stares intensely. Right now. Every nerve in my body is screaming to mark you and take you right here and right now. He says, emphasizing every word slowly. You even try to mark me and I will burn this entire place down. I give him a fake warning. I will, of course, but I can't let him mark me. That would weaken every resistance that I am able to put up right now. Xalvador's eyes turn fully black and he squeezes my wrist to the point of pain. Why do you hate me so much? What wrong have I ever done to you? He growls, his face contorted as if in restraint, and I flinch slightly. Everything. He stole my life, my freedom, and my happiness. There I was until a few days ago, living a free and content life, and here I am today, stuck with a heartless and cruel alpha like you. I retaliate, tears starting to form in my eyes. Why the hell do you call me a heartless person? Because I killed those shit wolves in the basement. You want to know why? I'll show you. He says fiercely and drags me up in one quick move. Whoa, I wasn't expecting this. He drags me out of the room and down the hall, his actions aggressive and relentless. Stares and stares are all that I feel as the monster drags me out the pack house and into the forest to somewhere unknown. I doubt for a second that he would hurt me in some way, but that thought passes away as quickly as it comes. Aficionados' blind trust and attraction towards Xalvador is frightening. I follow him, stumbling at times as he leads me to a village-like area. This must be where the rest of the pack resides. As we keep walking, I see a small house at the end of the path. He takes me in there and it's dark and messy. There is almost no furniture, except a small bed, a small kitchen counter, some blankets, and a small closet-like thing. There are 2 doors in the room and the house looks shattered, except it's quite clean. Mariah. Tyler. Xalvador calls in the softest tone I have ever heard him speak in. I am taken aback by his change of tone, but then hear one of the doors creaking. I see 2 children enter from there. A small girl, about 6, dressed in a cute blue frock. Holding her hand tightly, I see a small boy, about for walking beside her. Their eyes light up when they land on Xalvador and they run to him. In response, Xalvador kneels down immediately, pulling them both into a hug. I watch the exchange, not believing a second of it. How are these children not afraid of this monster? Xalvador releases them both and stands, kicking up the boy in his arms and caressing the girl's head. This is Mariah and this is Tyler. Xalvador introduces me to both of them. I smile at the children and they stare back simply. Children, this is your Luna, Arabella. Xalvador explains and they both widen their eyes slightly. They are children, so I don't correct Xalvador's introduction of me this time. He puts the kids away after some time and instructs them to play around. After they reach a distance, he walks to me and I perk up for an explanation. These children you see, they were tortured mentally by those wolves I killed today. Their father, Mason, was from the Silver Falls pack who left that pack after being disrespected and mistreated. He was a great combat and sought help from me. After assured of his honesty, I let him swear as a member of my pack, and since then he stayed faithful to Dark Moon. But in order to take revenge, the wolves of the Silver Falls abducted him, his wife, and these 2 kids. In front of their eyes, they tortured and burnt Mason and his wife. They laughed and mocked while the children cried and fought helplessly for their parents. They laughed as these kids saw their parents die, screaming and groaning in pain. They made these innocent kids watch their parents die in front of them. Can you imagine the pain and agony these kids have gone through? They are so young and innocent. They were lifeless for months before they finally started interacting again. It was only a week ago that I found and arrested those wolves who tortured them. He says in strained voice, and I gasp slightly, tears surfacing. I look at the children again and see the innocence and reluctance in their actions. Tyler clutches Mariah's hand at all times as if scared that she would disappear. Their eyes look so forlorn. They stick together as if they face the entire world around them, threatening to harm them again. I look away and think about how wrong I was about Xalvador. Those wolves were lying and I was so foolish to believe them. I chose to believe them over Aficionados, Liam and Xalvador. I turn to Xalvador and find him watching the kids with a fierce protectiveness that I am quite familiar with now. His eyes are soft and tender, unlike ever. When he catches me staring, his face quickly resumes his usual, serious facade. Why don't they stay in the pack house? I question in a low voice. Because they don't want to. They don't feel safe anymore, especially in the pack house where everyone is unknown to them. The people here know them, and so these kids feel safer and more at home. I check up on them regularly and provide them with whatever little they ask for. They barely speak. He explains and my heart clenches in pain for the 2 children. I feel horrible for believing those gruesome rascals and kneel down to the children. They move away as I approach them, and that shows how frightened they still are. I immediately stand again, to show I mean no harm. I and Xalvador linger around for a while. We'll come back later, Mariah and Tyler. Take care, he says after some minutes, and we both leave. Who takes care of them? I question as we start on our way back. There is an old lady in the house next to them. She sleeps with them each night and is with them for most of the day except for the time she goes to the pack church. He says and I nod wordlessly. The rest of the journey is quiet and I feel more and more guilt with each passing second. As we reach the pack house, Xalvador turns to me with a straight face. Aficionados flinches, and this time, I do too. I have business to attend to. I'll see you later. He says curtly and leaves towards his office. As I climb the stairs to Xalvador's room, there is only one thought that runs through my mind. I have to apologize. Apologies and warmth. I fret over how I should apologize to Xalvador when I spot Liam in the kitchen. I walk nervously to him. I was pretty mean to him too. Hey, can we talk? I say lightly as I reach him at the kitchen counter. He looks up and nods immediately. Sure, miss. Arabella. He says, and I flinch at his formal address to me, but then realize why he did so. There are people from the pack around here. Smart. We both walk to the front yard, where there are a few wolves training and some just lingering here and there. Liam doesn't say anything, and I realize he is waiting for me to initiate the conversation. I am sorry about today morning. I shouldn't have acted the way I did. I am sorry for snapping like that. Comes his reply, and I stutter to keep the conversation going. And you are right. I shouldn't have judged the Mons, I mean your alpha. I say with a shrug, and Liam stays quiet. I wait for him to say something, but he looks away. Disinterested. I messed up with him, God. I start walking away as he doesn't budge. Great, Arabella. Just great. You lost your only friend here. As I reach some distance, I hear a chuckle which then turns into a laughter. I turn around in confusion and see Liam doubling over with laughter. I stomp to him and narrow my eyes at him. I just apologized, okay? I huff and he laughs even louder. A few wolves look at us and the first thing I feel is Xalvador's jealousy over this. You really thought of apologizing because you talked to me in a rude manner. Seriously. He exclaims between laughs, and I don't get his point. He realizes my confusion and straightens up. Okay, I am sorry. I shouldn't have laughed. But trust me, it's very new for me to hear someone apologizing. I mean, this pack is full of acidic dudes who pretend like they don't know that a word like sorry exists. It's always a fight when anything happens, so I wanted you to continue your sorry speech. I was kinda enjoying it, he says, laughing again. I glare at him and he puts up his hands in surrender. Okay, fine. Oh, I am not even angry about the morning, Arabella. But Alpha definitely is. He broke several chairs in the storm after he returned with you. Also, his punching bag was brutally assaulted. He informs, and I feel shivers already. Yeah, I know. I am gonna apologize, but I am just not sure how to. Just go for it. You are his mate. He is weak without you. I am sure he will forgive you. Liam encourages. I realize he's right. I have to do it sometime. Might as well go for it now. I search for him in the office first, but find it empty. I then check the training field, but there are only the training wolves there. I then finally go to his room, where I find him sitting on the bed, his back facing me. I clench my fists nervously as I enter and jump when he speaks suddenly. Arabella. I take a deep breath and then began. I am sorry for what I did earlier today. I judged you before you could explain, and that was wrong on my part. And I realize that now. I say, and Xalvador just grunts softly. I wait for him to say something, but he doesn't. He just gets up after a while and starts walking out the door. I don't know why, but I feel like I can't let him go without forgiving me. I feel this stupid need to make things right. Without thinking for a second, I speak. I have lost someone too, I say, and he freezes in his depths. He turns around after moments, and his expression urges me to continue. She was, say, my godmother. My only family. I know she was not my mother, any blood relative. She told me that herself. I sit on the bed now as Xalvador listens intently, but she cared for me just like a mother. I don't remember everything, but I do remember that she loved me. A lot. I remember that we always used to run, from one forest to another. She would carry me for endless hours, and when the night fell, she used to make me fall asleep in her arms, which was like a cradle of warmth and protection. But then, I lost her that evening. I don't know what age I was when I last saw her. It all happened in a blur. She was caressing my back, while I slept content lie. Next moment, she was panicking. I thought we would run like always, but no, this time she just hid me under the ground. I was barely able to breathe, but with her around, I knew I was safe. I heard cries and screams while I was down, battling for air. When the voices fell silent and it became merry and quiet, I came out, only to see her body shredded to pieces. She was drenched in blood, and the sight still gives me nightmares. I lost her, my godmother. My everything. I finish and realize that I am shaking, tears falling freely. Before I can wipe my drenched cheeks, Xalvador hugs me tightly. I don't resist nor oppose. His hug makes me feel better and secure, and that is something I need right now. I let go and cry, showing my most vulnerable side to him, but I don't care. I don't know if it's the mate bond, but I don't feel weak as I cry in his arms. It feels perfectly normal. Sugar bun. It's okay. Xalvador arcus, and I put my arms around him. He stiffens in surprise but then quickly holds me back while I cry. After a few minutes, I pull away as my tears start to wither. I wipe my cheeks with the sleeves of the shirt I am wearing. I sit back and Xalvador looks at me with his intense gaze. I'm sorry about accusing you that way earlier, I whisper. He cups my face and I stays. It's okay. Your outburst is not the only reason I got angry, he says, and I frown in confusion. What do you mean? I ask it, his eyes wander all over my face before he leans in, pressing his lips to my forehead. Nothing, sugar bun. Take rest. You must be tired, he says in a strained voice and walks out of the room. I stare at the ajar door blankly and close my eyes and sigh. It's so messed up with him. He is so difficult to figure. He can be all sweet one minute and then back to his old self the next. I saw this completely new side of him today, just like he did. I pull my hair in frustration and fall back on the bed. I wake up to realize it's almost time for dinner. I walk down to the kitchen and see some girls cleaning the plates and laying the dishes. I walk to the counter and pick up another plate and a cloth to start cleaning. Luna, a girl says, startled as she realizes what I am doing. She catches the attention of the other two girls and they gasp too. We can do this, Luna. Please, one of them says. Oh no, please, let me help. I get bored to death sitting in the room all day, and please call me anything but Luna. Please. I explain softly but confidently, hoping those girls will see that I am normal, just like them. They exchange reluctant looks and then look at me. Don't worry, your alpha won't do anything. I assure them and they still hesitate. I am sorry, Luna, but I don't. Then one of them begins and I cut her off. Well, you are stopping the Luna from doing something she wishes, I say authoritatively, and they all look down. Great, Arabella. Hey, no, I didn't mean to scare you. It is just that I really need some work to do, I say desperately. Also you guys, I see my age and I could do with some friends. I shrug and they all look up. You mean FRI friends with us? One of them confirms and I nod. But you are the alpha's mate. Yeah, I know, but I still remain a human. Besides, I am used to a rough life. Of course, you guys know I am a rogue, so. Besides, this wasn't even my choice. I explain and they look at each other again, giving slight nods. We would love to get to know you. The girl standing in the middle says, Arabella. I complete her sentence and they widen their eyes. Please just call me Arabella, and I promise no one will tell you anything, I assure, and they relax. Okay, Arabella. I am Maisie. This is Emily and this is Sandra. Maisie introduces herself and the other two. I smile and shake their hands and they seem to relax a little. We all begin to lay the dishes as they ask me small questions. Cautiously, thank you so much for joining me in this obsession with werewolves. I hope you've had a great time and can't wait to come back for more. Remember to subscribe, leave your comments, and share this passion with others. Until next time, keep being obsessed.